Hello and good evening. Welcome to the Teacher's Room. And every Tuesday night we have a special guest who we have a chance to spend an hour interviewing. And tonight that special guest is Chiyuki Yanase. Hi, Chiyuki.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello. Hey.
And so for everybody, so you know, feel free to jump in if you have any follow-up questions or if something's not clear. And we also have a chat over on the right side, which is easy enough. If you find the icon down at the bottom, then you can click on the chat and you can drop a question in there. And as long as I have my glasses on, I should be able to pick up the questions and keep them going. So I'm thrilled to have this opportunity to talk with you, Chiyuki, and let's get right into it. So tell us what you are. Hey, Phil, fix your hair and you'll be all right.
Sorry.
Phil's not hearing it. Fix your hair, Phil.
Fix your hair. Fix your hair. Okay. Oh, handsome.
Okay.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
That's the first thing I get for coming into the room.
We're just starting right now because I had a traveling situation. Okay, so Chiyuki, tell us what you're teaching now. What's your teaching situation?
Okay, I started teaching at the universities, as a part-time teacher, and I also still teach in private at my school. Well, school means like a classroom. I'm tutoring elementary school kids up to the oldest one is a university student. I think he is in the freshman. And I will have a new student who is 60-something from this month. I'm so looking forward to having her.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's what I do.
What classes are you teaching at university?
Classes for general English, basically. But at one of the uni, I work in Yamanashi Prefecture, which take me 90 minutes to commute, but still worth going because they are all students who wants to be elementary school teachers. Yay!
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's well indeed, and they are so motivated, amazing students. And I've been learning a lot from them. It's really wonderful to share my experiences because I used to be an ALT at the elementary schools.
Right.
So when I taught them, when I said, well, I used to be an ALT at the elementary schools, they're like, what do you mean? You're Japanese. So I'm like, yeah, I'm Japanese, but I can be an ALT, still Japanese. And then they're like, we don't understand.
Yeah.
And then I explain, I am actually one of the pioneers to be an ALT in Tokyo.
Wow.
Which is, in Tokyo. Well, they told me that you are the first bilingual Japanese ALT we hire. So it was a direct hiring with the Board of Education.
Yeah.
So it was really good, and we could talk a lot, and we could have meetings regularly with the board of meetings, and then we didn't have any problems to communicate with the teachers. So it was a really great, blissful 3 years.
Wow.
But then I got into teaching universities, which is another challenge. I just love the challenges. I keep on doing that.
So where were you? Tell us about 10 years ago. What were you doing?
Wow. Yeah. 10 years ago, I was still a student.
Oh.
At one of the Japanese university, I was taking a distance course.
Yeah.
And majoring in English literature. Seattle, at the community college, I learned kind of children's education. I wanted to be a nursery school teacher.
Sorry, where was that?
Seattle.
Oh, so how long were you in Seattle?
I was there for about 1.5 years. I couldn't really finish my degree, but I studied how to teach children there.
Yeah.
the basic children's psychology and then all, try to be a nursery school teacher in Seattle, in America, but
Wow.
it didn't
Wow.
happen.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. So I came back to Japan, Tokyo, and then started teaching children here, English. So that was my start.
So you were teaching, were you teaching out of your own school, or were you teaching?
I was teaching at the language school for children.
Okay.
At the beginning. And then eventually, after I had my daughter in 1999, I started teaching privately at my own school.
So it's been a very busy 10 years for you, huh?
Oh gosh, yes. But I really want to study like in a very formal way, English literature, because I was more interested in learning English literature. And I went back to university and started taking classes with like 18 years old, 19 years old. I was probably one of the oldest one, but I was really bossy, but I had a really great time with others. It's like, I was called Anego, which means big sister.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I loved it. And
Nice.
then there are so many other people like who are completely different, like they are retired people.
Yeah.
The motivation level is like amazing.
The motivation level of who?
Of all those students. You won't believe it, It's like every single minute they don't want to waste their time and their money. So they ask so many questions to the teacher, and I felt a little bit sorry for the teachers, but
So were they American students or international?
No, Japanese students and some of the international students. Some of them are from Europe.
Yeah.
Some of them are from America, of course, North American, but
So
mainly Japanese.
That was showing you a whole different kind of education system, huh?
Oh, yes. They took it really personally. And it was amazing atmosphere. Like everybody asked questions. So I really do think it's not true the Japanese students are really passive. It's not true at all. Some of the students are really active and then almost like scary, really.
Yeah.
Some of the teachers got like, oh my, this is really daunting.
Well, I think it's so interesting because you wonder, I'm always confused because, you have this idea of shy Japanese, and then you go out to karaoke together, singing karaoke, and they're crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I think you're right that it is a myth that,
yes.
but yet, what do you think? Is it the expectation when you're in the States, the expectation to be a full participant, or do you think it's more that they just think it's okay to give opinions and stuff?
Yeah, I guess it is okay to give opinions. I feel the same, actually.
Yeah. So did you bring any of that feeling back to your teaching now? Do you
Yeah, I think I do. So I don't really take any excuses like I'm shy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I used to be shy, but it's not a really good excuse. So I might be more brutal than any other teachers.
Yeah.
In the conversation, like especially speaking class, when my Japanese students say, well, I'm shy, I don't want to talk with, and then I won't allow them to be really shy, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, well, don't worry about it. It's like, don't be shy, just talk, and then nobody is judging you. I won't judge you, so don't worry about it. Yeah. And then
so where did you what kind of inspired you to go from teaching private lessons to then take on some new challenges like your MA and other things, and getting involved with teachers associations and ETJ and JOLT and tell us a little bit about, because there's so many teachers who are just teaching and not trying to develop themselves. And something happens to make them want to start that process. So tell us what happened with you.
I was teaching privately with the students, and then I started feeling kind of routine.
Yeah.
And then I got bored with my teaching, actually. Yeah. Completely bored. And then I realized that I'm doing exactly the same thing over and over. I thought I really needed to improve my teaching if I keep on doing this. Otherwise, I get completely bored, burned out. And then I was almost like, I'm going to quit this. This is not exciting anymore. That kind of state. Then I joined ETJ, and then I met Phil. Hi, Phil. And Terry, and then Karin, and then they are amazing.
How did you hear about ETJ?
Well, I searched on the internet, actually. And then I was looking for some place to improve professionally. And ETJ was the one, and David Paul started organizing it. Great. And then that was when I went to the ETJ event first, and then I saw the buzz.
Well, what do you remember about that first visit to ETJ?
Well, it was a little bit daunting, and then I was really shy. I was sitting in the corner and then looking at everybody and then, interacting. I was typical Japanese and then going, oh, I don't know what to say. What am I going to say? And that was how I felt. But when I went to the ETJ event with the ETJ Tokyo member, they are so good at inviting me in the activity. And I remember the past one was Mayuka Habek, yes. And she was one of the role models. She was like Japanese, but she speaks English perfectly. And with this confidence, she wasn't really shy at all. And then I was like, I want to be like her. I want to be like her.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So she was the first role model as well.
Does she know that? Did you ever tell her that?
No.
So you promise that you're gonna send her a Facebook message.
Yeah,
tell her that story, because it's so important to tell those people that the influence they had on you. Because when it's happened to me, and I've done it with other people, it's so meaningful. So do that for her.
Yeah, life-changing moment.
Yeah.
It was like, I really, really wanted to be like her at that time. And then also Phil and then Colin and Terry, all the ETJ members, made sure that I feel okay, I feel fine. And then it was like amazing interaction between us. And I felt so welcomed and so great. And I just joined right away. Then the story began.
So you're in ETJ for a while. And then where did you go next in terms of looking for another challenge?
Right. So, and when ETJ, I think it was a Jolt event. Yeah, it was a Jolt event, because I think other members like Phil and Corinne and then Terry joined the Jolt and then talking about Jolt all the time now. Then I was like, I started wondering, Jolt. Okay, I'm going to go and check. And then we went to, you had a pink cow party or something, like a getting to know each other. And then everybody has to do the interaction from the beginning, like 10 or 15 of us. And everybody said, well, I got master's degree in da-da-da. I got master's degree, da-da-da. And I was the last one. And then I was like, I don't have any master's degree, but I'm here and I'm teaching children. I was like, really like, But then I thought, okay, I started thinking about, there is such a thing like a master's degree in TESOL. It could be really interesting. And then I started checking it. And then there were, the master's degree for teaching young learners. And I found it. And then I thought, ooh, this sounds really interesting. This sounds really good to know. And I started checking. Then I found Aston University, in Japan.
Yeah.
I was introduced and I took it. I didn't really think that I would teach at the university. It wasn't my goal.
Right.
But it kind of happened.
So, were you born with this kind of challenger spirit, or where did that come from?
I think I was born with this challenger spirit. And well, let me start. I almost died near death experiences 3 times in my life already.
Wow.
Yes. The first time I was only 2. I don't really remember, but I remember the hospital rooms. I was there for 6 months. You know, for the 2 years old, 6 months is like really, really long time.
It's like a quarter of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it felt like I was home at the hospital, and the picture books are only my friends, really, and nurses and my mom, my aunties, and then everybody tried to read me stories and all those stuff. So that was the first experience, and the doctor said, well, that's 50-50. She might not be able to make it. So if you want her to see anybody, just wait, and then invite all the people to have her see everybody or something like that. And then my mom was like, don't wait anybody, just do what you need to do. And I was saved. So that was kind of like the first time fighting spirit experience. I gotta live, yeah?
Yeah.
And then at the age of 21, I was about to go to graduate one of the technical college. I want to be a fashion designer. And then I got a really serious sickness as well. Then I was in the hospital for about 3 months. And at that time, same thing happens as like doctor told my mom that, well, 50-50, she might not be able to make it. So should we wait for somebody to see her? And my mom says, no, don't wait anybody, just do what you need to do. And the doctor did, and then I was saved. I was lucky enough. The second time, yeah. And the third time
you are a cat with 9 lives.
Yeah, I am, like by nature.
Wow.
Like
Okay, number 3.
Number 3, it was like at the age of 40. I've already had Momo at that time, and then suddenly, well, same kind of disease. Yeah. Then I was in the hospital. I kind of blacked out in the bathroom. I didn't know what happened, and I was carried to the hospital by the ambulance. Wee, wee, wee. And I had to be in the hospital for 2 weeks. But this time I didn't really have to have an operation, but I couldn't really eat for 1 week. And well, same thing. It's like, well, the doctor says, well, she's 50-50 kind of thing. So those kind of experience got me kind of challenge myself. And then I always think that there's no time to get bored. Just live and challenge when you can.
And they really make you everything you are today, doesn't it? Those life experiences, that I wonder sometimes, what would I be like if I didn't have the life experiences that I had? I might be a completely different person, and that's weird, right? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
How was it? So when you did the master's, did you think about doing it through a Japanese university, or did you only think about doing it with a foreign university?
Well, because a bigger challenge would be with a foreign university.
Yeah, of course.
Well, to be honest, with the Japanese university, I was quite sure I could get it. Sorry. Try not to be so,
arrogant.
Arrogant, yes, exactly. that is the word. But I've already got the Japanese education, and I got the merits from the university, and I thought, well, it would be really easy to go to the university master's degree one. And well, actually, I asked what kind of programs they have, and then it was manageable, I thought. But when I heard the British University one, Aston one, I read all the, criteria and then all the materials and what we're going to learn. I thought, wow, that sounds really impossible for me to do. So I'll do it. I was like...
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing with the Birmingham one. It looked like the most difficult one of all the ones I took or I looked at, and therefore it seemed like it might be the best one. Right? Which for me, I mean, that's a message about the level of classes we do, right? Sometimes my classes are too easy, I guess. And that I want to try to think more about how to make it challenging, but still attract students to want to try. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
The boundary. Yeah.
So what did you learn? What did you, not the contents, but what was the most difficult part of doing the masters? And what were you the other question is, what were you kind of naturally good at in doing the masters? Those two questions.
Right. Naturally good at is like finding human resources or something, finding a support. Probably I'm so blessed with the friends, and then they're so kind and then generous. You are one of them, Steve. You sent me your
one time I remember. I sent an essay to you.
Yes. Those kind of supports I got, and then it was wonderful support. And
was that mostly through Facebook?
Yes.
Yeah.
Facebook. I think mostly Facebook actually. I asked, I need this kind of resources, or I need this kind of help. Would you do that? And then tons of people will, help me. It was really a great help.
Were you ever nervous? Were you ever nervous to ask for help?
I was. At the beginning, I was really nervous. And then I thought, what if I didn't really what if I offend somebody? What if it was kind of rude or too cheeky?
I used to worry maybe they'll think I'm stupid if I ask these questions.
Right. Stupidity is not my problem, actually. I feel I'm quite stupid sometimes, and then it's okay being stupid, but it's like being too cheeky or being too needy, or that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I was a little bit worried, and then would that be okay to ask such a big favor?
Yeah.
But I was like, well, but I have no choice. I really need their help, so I just ask. And if nobody helps, it's okay, but what would I lose? So I just asked, and so many.
Yeah,
unbelievable,
isn't it? Yeah, that's the whole.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of teachers' communities, I think.
Communities, yes. And iTDi helps as well. Thanks for the iTDi connections. Yeah.
So how about writing in English? Did you know how to write before you did your master's?
No.
No,
it was
talk about writing a little bit.
Oh gosh, how many research papers have I read? It's like millions and hundreds, and then those words, terminologies, jargons, and it was really, really challenging. And from time to time, I really cried like a little baby, and then I go like, I'm gonna quit so many times. But every time I said, I'm going to quit, I can't do this, like some of my friends will say, hey, it's really tough for everybody, not only for you.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I was an English major, but I took very few writing courses in my English major because I did mostly drama, acting and directing.
Right.
So I was really worried about the writing side of it. And I can't. Did you gain confidence in your writing, or just survive the writing?
Just survived. I
Yeah.
think just survived. And well, it was getting a little bit easier, but still, it's really daunting. Still now,
Yeah.
it's one of those, biggest challenge.
Yeah.
I have to
Keeping
write.
writing, right? You're keeping
Sorry?
your academic. You're keeping up with your academic writing with
Yes.
and publishing and so on.
Yes, yes. Well, again, I'm very, very lucky. I've got amazing tutors from Aston's as well. They asked me to write some research papers for young learners because a serious lack of the field, the papers, especially research papers from the classroom, real classroom. So yeah, they asked me and then they gave me this opportunity. So I took the opportunity. I was like, oh, this is really challenging, but I thought, why not? I mean, I should take it because
Was that the British Council project you're involved in?
yes,
Brilliant.
British Council project. That's the first one. And then second one, I saw the advertisement, call for the paper. And then one of my tutor was putting on the line. And then I thought, maybe I should do it. The second time, nobody asked me, but I applied. The first one and the second one. There's still the second one as well. Amazing editors. And then, I got lots of support. So once you took it and then, start doing it, there are lots of supports.
Yeah.
But if you hesitate to do, nothing happens. So
now that's the other thing. This is a bit of my own research, but they talk about a confidence gap between men and women. That men are very, very loose. And they have this feeling that if they have 50% confidence, then they put their hand up and say, yeah, I'll do it. Mo nantoka naru. Somehow it's going to work out. But the data says that women often don't put their hand up unless they feel like 90% confident to be able to do it. So it sounds like you might have a little bit of a masculine approach.
I do, probably.
Which are you more? Are you more the nantoka naru, somehow it'll work out if I just start?
I'm completely nantoka naru person.
Yeah. Well, but that's to your advantage. I mean, that's something I'm trying to teach my young women students to believe that more, because it's interesting. They're going to job interviews and they're seeing young men their age who are given more opportunities, but most of my students say they're just not very impressive at all, those young men. But yet they have the nantoka naru power, to put their hand up and believe. So I'm seeing that in you, which sounds wonderful. That's your advantage.
Maybe one of the reasons is I was raised with brothers, like my cousin. I used to live with my cousins, two older brothers, and I've got two younger brothers. I was among all boys, and then I have to have this, nantoka naru attitude in order to compete them.
Yeah, or so you would never eat.
You gotta, exactly.
Yeah.
I really get it to be really competitive, and then I get it to whatever. And then I have to ask, if I want something, I really have to ask. So probably that's one of the reasons.
So I have a brand new question that you don't know about. Yeah, sorry, I'm going off the script here, but I'm really curious as a Japanese teacher and as a woman, that kind of identity when you walk into a classroom, let's say the university, okay, and you're doing general English, and a lot of there are at my university a lot of older women who've been doing it for many, many years, but you still come across as young and cheerful, and and so what kind of feeling do you think they have about you? What do they see? What do they see when you walk in the classroom, and what do you try to project to them?
okay, the first time I got in, they're like, oh, Japanese teacher, maybe middle-aged or something, I don't know. But
Yeah.
and then as soon as I start speaking in English, I always do, like as if I'm not Japanese or whatever, because this is a speaking English course. And then I started speaking English, and then they go, oh, is she Japanese or what? Chinese, Americans? Like they try to find out who I am. And then I started introducing myself and then say, I'm from Tokyo. And then they go, oh, she's from Tokyo, but speaking English, yeah? That kind of thing. And I'm a weird kind of thing. And she's, so they look really wondered. And then they got really interested in me instantly in a way.
Yeah, which I can never be a role model for my students. And I'm always jealous of what, you know, you can be. But I wonder, I think some Japanese women teachers don't know how to use that.
Yeah, I really had to think about it, really. Because I know some of the reactions from Japanese students, like, oh, she's Japanese, we got to speak Japanese. Well, it's easy credit or something. And sometimes they try not to speak English at all. They get lazy or something like that. But so I really have to think about like how I can kind of deal with that.
Yeah.
Stereotypical images of the Japanese teachers. So at the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I just speak English. And then they're like, wow, she's really nutter. And well, she's not really a typical Japanese teacher who knows, English grammar and then all that. So I have to break the image first.
Yeah.
And then construct the relationship with them little by little.
So tell us a little bit about that building the relationship stuff. I mean, I sometimes, depending on the class, I repeat things. Like that's one of my techniques, to kind of pick a goal and repeat that some sort of regularly so they get my message by the end of the term. But tell us how you go about building those relationships.
Well, sometimes at the beginning, I use English a lot. And then eventually, I put the Japanese and then I try to build the relationship or rapport with the students if the language level is too high for them, like depending on the topic.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get really personal, maybe. And then it's more like a counseling sometimes, not in the classroom, but outside. But through those kind of moments, I could get, I could build the relationship. And also, I kind of know how to modify English, like what kind of English ability, like depending on the stage of the student's learning process. Well, I guess everybody knows, but especially I'm Japanese, so I went through all that learning process of English. So at this level, probably they know this vocabulary and I should speak like this, and then,
So like grading your language level up and down.
Modifying my language level. Well, especially teaching children really helped me how to use my body languages and how to use the images or audio or all kinds of support in order to get my message across. Because even with children, I don't usually use Japanese so much.
Yeah.
I tend to use English more. So
do you think with, say, those general general English classes, are they required classes or elective classes?
Well, most of my classes are general, are required classes.
Hisshu.
Not elective, hisshu.
Yeah, so
they have to,
They have to take it.
Especially,
so a lot of first-year students.
Yes. Most of my students are first years. Only one class. I teach 17 comma a week, and 16 out of 17 are freshmen.
Yeah.
And only one class is like only third and then second and then third graders. Repeaters.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. So do you think that you focus more on accuracy or more on fluency?
What do you think? Fluency, yeah.
Yeah. And
At the beginning.
Yeah. And does it work by the end of the year? Do you get, what kind of comments do you get?
Yes. One of the most challenging university I work at, well, in terms of speaking ability and communicative approach, is called the University of Technology. 90% are boys, and then 90% of them don't want to communicate. They love computers, programming, IT business, and they're not really interested in any communication whatsoever. But at the end of the class, like it's a 1 year, and I always have them to talk in so many ways. And at the end, they say, I've never had such fun in English conversation classes, because what they did was merely grammar translation, and they are judged by their accuracy. But at the beginning of the class, I always say, well, accuracy doesn't really bother me. I mean, the fluency matters more than accuracy at this level.
Yep.
And eventually, you're going to have, focus on your accuracy on your own. But
and your complexity. Yeah, once you get some fluency, it gives you a little bit of motivation, a little bit of confidence. Then I always notice that the good students want more complexity and the bad students want more accuracy.
Accuracy, right.
So, wow.
So at the end, I always ask the student, could you evaluate your classes and how you were, and also how I was, and what did you learn, what you didn't learn, what did you enjoy, what you didn't enjoy.
What do they like about you? Tell us a few things that they like about you. You can brag a little bit. Really, I can tell you what they like about, of course you know. What do they like about you?
Yeah, probably positive attitude. And then I'm always never be tired in the classroom. I don't really show because I think it's really rude. The teacher came into the classroom with tired faces. It's like, how rude would that be? I would be very upset about it. So I'll never show how tired it doesn't matter how tired I am. I'm always kind of smiley and then kind of natural reaction. As soon as I got into the classroom, my energy level was quite high.
It's that movie was Showtime. Yeah. Turn on the energy.
Yeah.
Even I love to imagine your number 15, 16, and 17 coma.
Yeah.
It takes a little more. Yeah. Okay. Let's get this finished. Yeah.
Let's get going. And then,
So positive, positive and cheerful. And you said that they thought it was fun. What kind? How do you have fun in the classroom? What's an example?
Well, lots of activities. I'm from teaching young learners. Young learners don't really take me seriously if I make them bored.
Right.
Like only reading or something like that. You have to have some kind of a purposes and also fun in there. And they really love, well, even freshmen, like pair work or group work, but the manageable ones, and then kind of, little bit of a competitions, especially for those, computer IT people. They love competition, a little bit of competitions. And so the activity was, games and activities and then group, everything. And they've never learned English in that way, they said. So it was all about textbook, all about translation and accuracy, how many vocabulary you got, phrases.
Generally, do you use textbooks?
I use textbook, but I don't really follow step by step. Yeah, I have
mean,
some.
I have to use at one place. I have to use a textbook. So on day one, I said, "This is your homework textbook."
Oh wow!
Yeah, I said, please do chapters 1 to 6 in the spring and do chapters 7 to 12 in the fall. And at the end of the spring, I tell them which pages, which activities, and then I ask them, what % did you finish? And they all, they tell me honestly, 60%, 90%, 30%. And I look at some of them just to make sure they know I'm going to check. But yeah, because I don't want to use the textbook, I just make it a homework review. And I'm shocked that some students even say, thank you. I'm glad I could review that stuff at home by myself, and it helped me a little bit to do things in class. I was shocked by that, but happy. Yeah.
Good idea. Yeah.
Think about it.
I often use the really good pictures though from the textbook because sure. And some of the topics. Yeah. But yeah, it's really good idea to review.
Cool.
I might steal the idea.
You're welcome. It's free.
Yay.
So you want to get into the hard stuff?
Okay.
Just for fun. So you talked about Mayuka. Was it Mayuka Habik? Yeah. Tell us just a couple. This is not the hard stuff yet. Tell us a couple more people, or either teachers you know, or any of the famous people in ELT. But who are some of your influences or role models?
Okay, Carl Rogers is one of them. Humanistic approach to teaching, freedom to learn.
Yeah.
I read it and then I was like, this is what I wanted. Student-centered. And I believe in students, and they know what they want to know, because I knew what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And also Brown. Do you know Dr. Brown from TED Talk? She talks about daring greatly.
How do you know how to spell her first name?
Yeah, B-L-N-E, Brown. Oh, Brown.
Brent?
No, not Brent. Sorry.
Oh, Brent. Yeah. Breen Brown. Okay, thank you.
TED Talk.
Yep.
And then she wrote 4 books already. But the first one is like talking about vulnerability and imperfect, and the daring greatly is one of the best one I've ever read, I think, because it's exactly links to my attitude towards my life. I just want to dare greatly, dare to challenge, and live wholeheartedly, fully.
How much are you able to tell your students this kind of stuff? Is that ever come up, or does that stay inside your heart?
Really depending on
I wonder how much we should share that kind of stuff.
Well, I started sharing this kind of life story a little bit. It's kind of heavy stuff for some people. But with the teachers, like future teachers, I shared, and then they took it really seriously. And they started actually telling me more stories about their personal stories. And then I really appreciate it because of this, daring greatly, my teaching philosophy, or, life philosophy. And I thought I should share with them because they wanted to be a teacher especially elementary schools. And I've seen a lot of realities of children in Japan, even in Tokyo. 1 or 2 out of 5 are in the poverty level at the moment. Wow. Probably, people don't really believe that, but I saw some students are really hungry, you know, they couldn't really eat 3 meals. And then I know a few students at class, you know, there are some of them. And I've never thought about that before. But I've seen it.
In Japan.
No.
Yeah.
Not in Japan. I thought, not in Japan. But actually, the reality is 1 out of 5 students are suffering from the poverty. And I've seen, even in Tokyo, there are some areas like a completely affluent society, and then they don't see that. But there are some areas that students don't even have 3 meals a day. And some students, especially during the summer vacation or, you know, long winter vacations, they lost a lot of weight. And it was really painful to see that. And that's one of the reasons I really wanted to teach those teacher wannabes, the future teachers, about the realities at the primary schools, not like wishy-washy stuff. Because the reality matters a lot. And teaching job at the elementary school is not really a fancy, dreamy job. You have to deal with lots and lots of social problems. Some students cannot even stop, you know, sitting for 2 minutes or so because of that, you know,
ADHD and all
ADHD or learning disabilities.
And it's getting worse every year as well. And because I spent 9 years in the elementary school, you know, more than 10 years ago, but it was beginning then. And, you know, you had a big problem with a little boy in class, and you call his parents in, and they are worse than the little boy. And so then now you're seeing where it comes from, you know, and that just all started suddenly, you know, and that's unfortunate that Japan is taking many of the bad things from the West, you know, and losing that sort of sense of community that it used to have.
But also as a teacher.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, as a teacher, we have power to change a little bit.
Yeah. And I want to try to, I don't want to end on a completely dark side of this conversation, as important as it is. But I just lost my thought there. But it speaks to the trust that you feel with those teacher wannabes, as you said, and that, you know, I always appreciate when people are honest with me, you know, especially when I was younger, you know, and you say now, why didn't anybody tell me about this? You know, why did I have to find out 20 years after, you know? So I think it's really admirable that you're telling them the truth. Yeah, don't you think?
I hope we won't really discourage them, but it seems like it's more like they are encouraged to deal with it. And then I really respect them. I really do.
I've got a great video series I'm gonna look for and send to you after the. It was a famous one about the Japanese elementary school teacher, who's quite famous now, but he's very much a humanistic teacher, and you'll like it. I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
And you should show it to those teacher wannabes as well.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be great.
No, it's perfect. It's in English and Japanese, so it's very
useful. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So just to finish up, we've got about 5 more minutes, but
wow.
What are some of the things that you're interested in these days? As what's next? What's got your curiosity about teaching or improving yourself some more, or what's kind of on your plate?
I think I've already told you about this, but self-efficacy. How can I develop the children's yes, I can kind of power, or children or students in a classroom? Because I teach at the university, and one of the university's students tend to have very low self-efficacy. They don't really think they can learn something, but they can.
Yeah.
I know they can,
Yeah.
but they don't really think. They always deny that, oh, I can't do this. This is too difficult, without trying really hard. So I'm thinking like how I can, facilitate the learning space there with those students who has self-doubt.
Yeah.
It's the really strong self-doubt, like whether I can do it. But same as you mentioned about the woman, unless we are 90% sure, we don't really say I can do it. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
If you got like 50%, maybe yes or no, why don't you dare?
Yeah. And to me, when I explain this to university students, and I say the reason that men are going up in the company is that they're getting that experience that's necessary. Because of that nantoka, somehow it'll work out. And the girls, the look on their face is, well, that's not fair. Then they can understand, oh, I've got to put my hand up.
Yes.
And so that's the kind of like, if we talk about abstract ideas, it's very, and self-efficacy can be very abstract, but that's really the challenge, is to show them examples of how they can understand it in order to take steps.
That's right. Yeah. I think you can get a master's degree if you can pass that driver's license test.
Yep. Sure.
That's how I started.
Yeah.
So it's like you should believe in yourself. You have all the abilities and capabilities, and if you can't believe in yourself, who can? That is that kind of attitude I really want to, tell the students. They can do it.
Tell other teachers as well, hey? That kind of, again, I go back to the ETJ, that first step you took, and it came out of your boredom, right? You were bored with teaching, but it's funny because some people don't make that connection. I'm really bored, I'm not really enjoying my job. I think I'll go and make it better. Isn't the natural first step? So it's kind of like you had some kind of pride in a good way. I mean, in English, pride is a good feeling. You wanted more for yourself. But this is the one that I'm really struggling with right now, is that it's like this idea that we produce the results in our life that we think we deserve to get. If we think we should get it, then we go in that direction. But how do we get the people to believe that they should get a better job, or they should get a nice life, or they should get a nice partner, or, all of these things? It's the same kind of mystery where...
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. But by talking about it is a good first step, I think. And
then sometimes you don't know who you are on your own. And by talking with somebody, and then by somebody's comment, you realize who you are. And that's what happened to me. I didn't have any confidence, or I didn't really think I could do anything before. When I was much younger, I have less confidence. But now, because of all the amazing friends in international, and just because I can speak English, and then I could communicate with so many people in the different countries, and I could get some compliments, and then of course I get some, criticism, of course, but I get good comments, and then eventually I started to believe in myself. So that's how you could do, even, international communication got you, empowered you.
And what you're saying there is to put yourself out there. If you're sitting by yourself in your bedroom, nobody's going to compliment you.
No.
Nobody's going to criticize you. you know, you're just sitting alone. So it's part of taking action, right?
Yes. Yes.
Go to
And
that
then,
first meeting.
yeah, some people said the world is such a, you know, brutal place, and then the bad things happen. Yes, but at the same time, we got amazing things happen, awesome things happen, and then you could get helped by so many people,
Mm.
you
Yeah.
know, at the same time. Yeah.
I think also, you know, we're very fortunate because we're in one of those professions where there are so many other people who have that caring and look out for each other. So, you know, as a teacher, you don't. There's no need to have such a great fear of putting yourself out there. In some other industries and so on, if I was back in law, then you know you might think twice about some things because other people might cut you down because it is so competitive. But
Yeah.
it's just not really like that in education, and that's one of the things I think we're very lucky. And one of my friends pointed out as well early on. So,
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We should share the luck. Yeah.
Yeah, share that lucky stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was great fun. Thank you for
Very fun.
Thank you for your patience at the beginning with the.
Thank you for inviting me. No, it wasn't patience at all. It was amusing.
So, where I'm going to turn off the recording here. Oh, there we go.
Oh, hi, Mike.
Michael's still with us. Hi, Michael.
Hello, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you home yet?
No, I'm almost home.
Good. Well, it was a pleasure to have you listening.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll try to come on Friday as well.
Okay.
oh, brilliant! Look forward to it.
Right.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks so much.
Okay. I'm going to turn off
Good
the
night.
recording. Good. Good night, everybody. See you next
Thank
week.
you, Chiyuki.